pisang, jual kuih karipap kah, atau jual sayur. E-hailing ni dia dalam report tidak ada kerja. Jadi ini akan menampakkan bahawa jumlah itu akan bertambah besar.
Yaakob diminta mengulas mengenai laporan akhbar tempatan yang memetik Persatuan Pusat Latihan Kemahiran Sistem Latihan Dual Nasional Sabah dan Labuan yang menganggarkan bilangan belia menganggur di negeri itu mencecah suku juta orang menjelang 2024.
Selain itu, Yaakob yang juga Timbalan Pengerusi Perhubungan UMNO Sabah mengalu-alukan pelancaran Gabungan Rakyat Sabah GRS sebagai parti rasmi esok. Sambil menyatakan akan hadir pada majlis itu, Yaakob berharap jalinan kerjasama antara JRS dan Barisan Nasional BN akan bertambah baik demi kesejahteraan rakyat Sabah.
Bagi pihak BN sebagai rakan kongsi dalam kerajaan ini, kita mengalu-alukan dan mengharapkan kerjasama antara JRS dengan BN itu bertambah baik demi untuk rakyat negeri Sabah.
Baiklah, dengan itu sekian Awani Borneo untuk hari ini. Saya Syaf Syukri, salam hormat.
Malaysia mengiktiraf institusi kewatawanan negara sebagai tonggak kesejahteraan dan demokrasi rakyat. Di Melaka Bandaraya bersejarah, sambutan Hari Wartawan Nasional atau AWANI 2022 dirasmikan Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob. AWANI 2022.
Hai. In a unanimous decision, a 3-member bench led by Federal Court Judge Datuk Seri Muhammad Zawawi Saleh denied her appeal, saying, unlike a civil court, a criminal court has no power to issue declaratory orders to nullify Rosma's corruption case. Earlier, the Apex Court also dismissed Rosma's preliminary objection on whether it was proper for Sri Ram to represent the prosecution in today's proceedings. On December 6 last year, the Court of Appeal denied Rosma's second bid to nullify her entire trial in an effort to be freed from all 3 charges and remove Sri Ram as the lead prosecutor in the case. Rosma is facing a charge of soliciting bribes from Jepa Holdings as a reward for assisting the company to secure a 1.25 billion ringgit project to equip 369 schools in rural Sarawak with solar hybrid power. She was alleged to have received the money through her then assistant, Datuk Rizal Mansor. All parties should respect the prerogative of the Prime Minister in appointing a cabinet minister. Housing and Local Government Minister Datuk Seri Rizal American said the decision should be left up to him as stated in the federal constitution. Rizal was asked by reporters about the appointment of a cabinet minister following the move by Datuk Zuraida Kamarudin to join Parti Bangsa Malaysia PBM. On Thursday, the Ampang MP said she would be meeting with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob soon to discuss her resignation as a minister. Following that, Bersatu President Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the party would be submitting a new name to the Prime Minister soon for the appointment of a cabinet minister to replace Zuraida. Muhyiddin said the move is taken as Zuraida's position as Plantation, Industries and Commodities Minister was under the party's quota. Businesses and investors have over the years shifted from conventional to sustainable and environmental products and services. Greener Solutions has been picking up globally, with EU nations at the forefront driving the sustainability push. But how has interest and awareness been in Malaysia? I spoke to Roland Gallagher, President of the EU Council, for his thoughts.
If you look at what's happening in Malaysia, I think that the latest extreme climate events which we have witnessed, the floods, etc., I think have all brought home the fact that yes, there is climate change, and yes, that it must be fought, right? And what we have seen today, actually, and what I think I will take home from this forum is the fact that the government in Malaysia, but also the corporate sector, are very much aware of the need to join forces to really try and stem global warming.
All right, so what do you think is the first or the next step to actually, advancing and getting more industry players, especially, and the government as well, on board towards this goal in tackling climate change?
Well, I think a good place to start, as we have discussed today, is probably to launch a carbon trading scheme in Malaysia. And in this respect, I very much welcome the fact that this is the intention of the government. And this will, I think, go a long way in alleviating the effects of climate change. So I think we're all on track with Malaysia.
Well, that's definitely very good to hear. Now, I just have one more question. So just now during the presentation, you have mentioned, or you have brightly pointed out the CBAM. Yes, the CBAM. So could you perhaps explain a little bit on that and where Malaysia is right now in signing the deal?
Okay, CBAM is actually an acronym because in the EU we are very fond of acronyms. It stands for Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. The idea is that we discourage carbon leakage. In other way, we will try and prevent our own companies from exporting pollution to other countries such as Malaysia. So in essence, it means that it is a cooperative endeavor. It is a climate-related measure, not a trade measure. So it will apply irrespective to EU domestic or foreign firms, and it will help us make sure that we do not add unfairness to the unfairness which is already generated by climate change.
We'll take a quick break. Stay tuned.
Jualan Riang Raya Maxis. Bawa pulang peranti idaman baharu hanya RM50 sebulan dengan Maxis Home Fiber hari ini.
Melindungi anda dan seisi keluarga dalam ruang tertutup. Panasonic. Welcome back. Earlier this week, U.S. President Joe Biden unveiled the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, seen as a key step in the U.S. effort to re-engage Indo-Pacific nations and to provide a counterweight against Chinese economic clout in the region. But what does this mean for ASEAN and Malaysia? Foreign policy analyst Dr. Zohri Idris shares his thoughts.
Whatever that the U.S. is aiming should also be aimed and should also be shared and worked upon by U.S. allies. And of course, that has been for so long since 1990, and during the Obama administration in 2008, the administration focuses and leverages the strategic partnership into Indo-Pacific, which includes Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, and New Zealand. Right? And I think, and I very much believe that the Biden administration replicates so much into the Obama administration foreign policy, and that is why strategic partnership is being recoined again in the current ASEAN-US Special Summit. Now, this requires ASEAN and Malaysia to be really critically smart on how that we maneuver ourselves and the region, knowing there is a strategic partnership being in place as a result of the US-ASEAN Special Summit this year.
He stressed the importance of the U.S. to recognize the value of the region and keep up consistent engagement.
ASEAN should push United States to recognize ASEAN consistently, not as the recognition of the existence of ASEAN, but to recognize and give importance to the significance and the value of the regions towards the US. You know, we do not want the new era, as President Biden is saying, is a policy of come and go kind of things. You know, when the administration changed, then it will not be the same thing. So we do not want. ASEAN needs to engage consistently with all nations and with all countries. So we need the US to be in ASEAN for a very long time. Now, also recognizing ASEAN's interests, and ASEAN has been repeatedly saying that we are a region of inclusivity, we are a region of neutrality, and we are a region of openness to everyone. At that point, the region does not want to make a decision on which side we should align for or which we should be inclined for. And I think we have to make it clear for our friends in the United States that ASEAN is established for that reason, and we remain and steadfast to be a neutral as well as to be an open and inclusive region.
More on the foreign front, Twitter shareholders have filed a lawsuit against billionaire Elon Musk, alleging he had actively manipulated Twitter's stocks to make personal gains. They claimed that Musk engaged in market manipulation by his delayed disclosure and thereby buying Twitter stock at an artificially low price. Musk has recently stated that he's putting the deal on hold until Twitter's CEO Parag Agrawal proved that the platform had less than 5% of fake and spam accounts. Musk claimed that these accounts could be as high as 20%, 4 times higher than what Twitter claims. The complaint alleges that Musk has been engaged in this sort of conduct, sowing doubts about the deals and driving the stocks down. While the lawsuit was initiated by a small group of shareholders, if any damages are given, it would be distributed among anyone holding Twitter's stock. Over in the U.S., the gunman who has attacked a school in Texas was able to enter the building unobstructed. Texas police said no armed guard challenged the 18-year-old attacker, and it is unclear if the school door was even locked. The latest statement contradicted earlier comments from authorities and raising further questions about the police response to the massacre. Tuesday's horrific shooting left 19 children and 2 teachers dead. The massacre marked the deadliest U.S. school shooting in nearly a decade. It has thrown the country into a fury of anger and grief yet again, amid renewed calls for gun law reforms. So far in 2022, there were at least 38 shootings in schools, colleges, and universities in the country. Firearms deaths have surpassed motor vehicle crashes as the leading cause of death among American youngsters. Official data showing a strong rise in gun-related homicides. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 4,368 children and adolescents up to the age of 19 died from firearm-caused injuries in 2020, a rate of 5.4 per 100,000 people. Homicides made up nearly 2/3 of the gun deaths. By comparison, there were 4,036 deaths linked to motor vehicles, the previous leading cause of death among this age group. By region, the gun-related death rate was highest in Washington, followed by the state of Louisiana, then Alaska.
We know how to keep people safe while we're grocery shopping.
In the case of 15-year-old rape victim charged of killing her newborn, what gaps has it highlighted in our juvenile justice system? Tonight on Consider This, we ask our guests about the hurdles in realizing child rights in Malaysia. That's coming up right after this. Now that is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week.